Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the absolute most pressing challenges in modern IT infrastructure. How do we handle the massive thermal output of next-generation data centers without totally breaking the bank or the environment? As these advanced processors just keep getting hotter, traditional air cooling is, well, it's literally hitting its physical limits. So today, we're going to explore the pressing need for modern, sustainable liquid cooling solutions. And more specifically, we're going to break down exactly how Supermicro's SuperCloud Composer scales and manages all of this advanced hardware. Okay, let's quickly run through our roadmap for today. First up, we've got the liquid cooling era. Then we'll look inside the Inrow CDU, move right into SuperCloud Composer management, check out analytics and telemetry, and then finally wrap things up with licensing and next steps.
All right, part one, the liquid cooling era.
Modern data centers are just under immense pressure right now. We're seeing these incredibly demanding AI and big data workloads absolutely taking over the rack. And of course, these new generations of silicon draw massive amounts of power, which leads directly to sky-high energy consumption just to keep the servers from, melting. But at the exact same time, organizations are facing very strict mandates to cut carbon emissions. So the ultimate goal here is shrinking that PUE, the operational efficiency, down as close to 1.0 as physically possible. And to actually get there without sacrificing our AI performance, we have to entirely rethink how we move heat.
Which brings us to section 2, inside the Inrow CDU.
1 megawatt. I really want to anchor your attention on this massive cooling capacity for a second. Supermicro's Inrow CDU boasts a 1 megawatt cooling capacity at a 50 degrees Celsius approach temperature. To put that into perspective, that is just a monumental amount of heat removal packed into a single row unit. It perfectly represents the sheer, incredible scale of the system you need to keep fully populated liquid-cooled racks operating at peak efficiency. Now, to understand how it actually moves all that heat, we really have to look at the dual-loop plumbing. On the primary side, so your facility water, we have a supply flow rate of just under 1,200 liters per minute, and it operates at a maximum pressure of 1 megapascal. Now compare that to the secondary side loop. This is the closed loop that actually runs into the server racks. It operates with a maximum flow rate of 1,200 liters per minute, but at a much lower maximum pressure of 0.5 megapascals. And both sides use 4-inch ANSI 150-pound flanges. That's absolutely crucial for handling these really dense, high-volume connections safely. As for the physical footprint of this workhorse, it sits at 850 millimeters wide and 2,300 millimeters tall, weighing in at just under 1,200 kilograms when it's fully loaded with its coolant. And by the way, that coolant is a 25% by weight propylene glycol mix. The unit draws a maximum power of 18.5 kilowatts, and here is the kicker. It utilizes a 2N redundant pump system, meaning there is a complete, totally independent backup pump ready to take over instantly to prevent catastrophic overheating. It is a seriously impressive piece of engineering. But it kind of begs the question, how on earth do you orchestrate a multi-rack liquid cooling deployment like this from a single desk?
Well, that brings us to section 3, SuperCloud Composer management.
Through the POD view module within SuperCloud Composer, the unified console visually maps out your environment exactly as it sets on the physical floor. Notice how the Inrow CDU appliance positioned on the left side is directly associated with the fully populated AI servers right next to it. This setup offers just incredible flexibility. It allows administrators to seamlessly align workloads with specific rack deployments, all from a single pane of glass, whether they're managing edge deployments or data centers located miles and miles away. This quote really hits the nail on the head. The Liquid Cooling Console Module, or LCCM, is the real workhorse behind the scenes here. It is constantly gathering critical physical asset details and raw sensor data directly from the CDU. So you aren't just guessing about the status of your facility's plumbing anymore. The software actively captures this telemetry to consolidate your entire data center lifecycle management right into one unified view. Let's dive deeper into that data in section 4, Analytics and Telemetry. Crucially, you aren't just getting in-the-moment real-time alerts. The system is continuously tracking the historical status too. When you look at timelines tracking the CDU control unit status and leak detection over hours and days, it's a game changer. Having this comprehensive, granular view means an administrator can spot a tiny intermittent issue, like, say, a momentary drop in pressure or a minor moisture detection, long before it ever triggers a massive failure. And when we look at the granular line graphs tracking metrics like coolant supply temperature, facility water return temperature, and pressure over a full 24-hour period, it gets even better. SuperCloud Composer isn't just presenting raw data, it's translating all those temperature and pressure readings into actual predictive analytics. By understanding your historical baseline, the software actually helps you anticipate maintenance needs and dynamically optimize pump speeds as those server workloads peak and valley throughout the day. So, why does all this granular software analytics really matter at the end of the day? Well, because it has a massive impact on the physical business. By placing the cooling directly near the heat sources and using software to maintain perfectly stable temperatures, you dramatically lower your overall facility energy consumption. And more importantly, eliminating those awful thermal throttling and sheet spikes prolongs the life of incredibly expensive data center equipment. It heavily enhances overall system reliability. You get more life out of your hardware, and you use less power to do it. Win-win, right?
All right, let's bring it all home with Section 5, licensing and next steps.
Supermicro breaks this down into some very straightforward licensing tiers. You've got a monitor license for single system activation and a DCMS license to enable advanced BMC features. But honestly, the standout here is the trial license. This is a completely free 90-day trial that allows activation for up to 200 monitored systems. It is an incredibly low-friction way to just experience this agile, centralized management on your own data center floor before making any kind of massive commitment. To wrap things up, if you want to dig into the exact API capabilities, or maybe read through the full technical specs we covered today, feel free to scan the QR codes right now to access the SuperCloud Composer white paper and the official product webpage. And I'll leave you with this final thought to consider. As AI models continue to grow exponentially, the power demands of the hardware required to run them are only going to increase. Looking at all the data we've covered today, isn't it clear that rapidly adopting software-managed, intelligently orchestrated liquid cooling is really the only true path forward for sustainable AI growth? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.